So the reading quiz is the most difficult part of the course. That's the bad news. The good news is, while it's the most difficult part of the course, it's only worth something like 16% of your grade. So don't panic. You can absolutely bomb all the reading quizzes and still potentially do well, or you still get a passing grade for the class. Uh, this is going to be hard. You're not going to like it. Chances are, right? Chances are this is going to be hard, and you're not going to get like it, and it's going to be very frustrating. I want to like initially kind of ward off a reaction to this. I've had students in the past that were so anxious about the reading quiz and submitting a perfect example that they just simply didn't submit one, right? Because they didn't want to submit something less than perfect. The kind of the, I don't know, fear of not doing perfect. Okay, overcome this fear, right? Just get it done. Partial credit is better than no credit. Partial credit is better than no credit. And this is the sort of thing that this is a skill, right? Reading comprehension is a skill. I don't know whether people really explain that or not. Reading comprehension is a skill. So you improve upon it, right? There's very few people ever that expertly and perfectly perform a skill the first time, right? Now, so yeah, it's a skill. You might feel some anxiety about doing the perfect job. You'll overcome that anxiety, just get it done, and you'll improve over time. Right? You'll improve over time. Okay. Um, so that's one thing I want to say right away, right? As far as a reading quiz strategy, here's the number one strategy: turning in something is better than nothing. um, Another really big strategy here is read the instructions. Right? Read the instructions. You have not had a writing assignment like this before. I say that with high confidence. If anybody has, please send me an email with the instructions and a sample of the assignment, for which course, because I want to see whether somebody else has done this before. So yeah, chances are you haven't had a writing assignment like this before. This is not a reflection piece. This is not a summary piece. This is not something you write in paragraph form. This is not a reaction piece. And frankly, maybe you don't like hearing this. I don't know. I don't want to know in this assignment. I don't want to know whether you agree or disagree with the philosopher. That's not important. I don't want to know your own answer to the problem that the philosopher has addressed. No, no. All this writing assignment is supposed to do is tell me that you at least attempted the readings and made a concerted effort to comprehend them, right? Show me. Right? This should be a burden on everybody for the rest of the life, that on social media, in public, whatever. Right? This should be a burden on you before you criticize somebody else, before you critique, I should say, before you critique some other person's um, a belief, in philosophy, and I'll extend it to say like religion and politics, ethics, um, even in something in physical sciences. If you critique somebody else's or want to critique somebody else's position, you are now under the burden of demonstrating that you properly understand the other person's position. That should be just like a standard thing. But oh well. So yeah, I am not looking for a summary. I don't even want this in paragraph form. I'm not looking for reflection. I'm not looking for your reaction. I'm not looking for how you feel about it. No, I don't care about any of that. All I want you to show and demonstrate is that you understand what the philosopher is doing in this piece. Kind of related to that, some other maybe warnings here. Don't plagiarize. Plagiarism is, simply stated, taking somebody else's work and representing it as your own, either, on purpose or accidentally. No, don't plagiarize. Do not copy and paste from the readings and submit it into the reading quiz. I don't want quotes. I know what the philosopher says. I read it too. What I need to know is that you know what the philosopher is doing. So I don't want quotes. Don't tell me what the philosopher says. Tell me what the philosopher is doing. And so, don't give me quotes. Don't plagiarize. Submissions that have a bunch of quotes pasted in them, or I'm not going to give you a hard number because I didn't have 5 quotes. No, don't give me quotes. Don't plagiarize. Do not use artificial intelligence to submit your reading. Because by the way, the artificial intelligence can't fulfill these instructions. It doesn't know how. Artificial intelligence is actually probably a misnomer. You shouldn't call it artificial intelligence. It's not smart, right? It's fast, it's efficient, but it's not smart. Most artificial intelligence out there is basically Google searching, but it's jazzed up a little bit more, right? Google searching summaries. That's that's what most artificial intelligence is out there. So yeah, don't use artificial intelligence. It can't fulfill the instructions. Don't plagiarize. Don't copy and paste from the text. If you violate these basic standards of submitting an assessment or submitting an assignment, I'm probably just going to give you a 0 and give you a warning. Please just don't do this. Filing an academic dishonesty report is just not fun for anybody. And it's easy to show. Trust me, it's easy to show that you plagiarized. It's not hard. So just don't do it. I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. A bad submission is better than a 0. Right? So please do your own work. Don't use somebody else's work. So I said that this is not in paragraph form. Well, I have provided an example of the format. So follow the format. You probably ought to look at the example of the format, and I have that. Well, you're viewing this video, so you've seen the format, right? It's right there. So make sure you check out that format, follow the format. Your reading quiz will include the question, the answer, and the reasoning. And the reasoning includes the terms, the assertions, the inferences, objections, and rebuttals. I had a whole nother video explaining what each of these are. I can explain it, but frankly, you're going to understand it better trying, right? So practice is going to better serve comprehension than the video that I provide. Now, I say provide the question, the answer, the reasoning. Label all of these, right? The question, the answer, label those, semicolon, not semicolons, right? Also, on top of that, the reasoning, for your reading quiz, the reasoning is in numbered list form, and I must insist on numbered list form, and I have reasons for that. I'll go into that, or you see it with the format example. Well, actually, the reason for this, right? The reason why I insist on numbered list form is deals with the inferences, right? So when you have assertions, you have inferences. The assertions should be the evidence for the inference. So if you list an inference, and well, a lot of these will have inferences, and maybe several. If you have an inference, list the assertions, right, and cite it. Cite the assertions following the numbers that you provided for the numbered list format. So yeah, the inferences list the assertions used in that inference. There's also objections and rebuttals. For the rebuttal, cite, again by numbered, by appears in your reasoning by numbered item, right? Cite the objection to which, for the objection that's rebutted by the rebuttals. Make sure you schedule time for this, right? Do it well in advance, well before the due date. There are students who try to complete and submit this reading quiz 2 hours before it's due, or 1 hour before it's due, or even 6 hours before, or 30 minutes before it's due, and it just doesn't do a good job, right? It's just not enough, right? These modules are designed to be 9 to 12 hours worth of effort, right? You're supposed to devote 9 to 12 hours worth of effort for these modules. If you're in a face-to-face class, that includes the 3 hours face-to-face, right? And the largest chunk of this time is going to be the reading quizzes. Right? The reading quizzes are going to take the largest chunk of this time. Now, you really should be using, you'll see in a second, you should be using all the assignments at the same time in tandem to comprehend, right? But carve out the time for this well in advance of the due date and the due time. So these are the time that they're due on the due date is 11:59 p.m. So the time that these reading quizzes are supposed to be submitted is 11:59 p.m. on the due date, 11:59 p.m. Do not wait to submit the reading quiz at 11:59 p.m. And if you hit that button at 11:59 p.m., it's probably going to be counted late. The computer is ruthless. I mean, really ruthless. At 11:59 and 1 second, it's late. Computers are ruthless, right? If they ever take over, we're all done for, right? So do not wait to submit that at 11:59 p.m. Right? That's a really really bad idea. So not only is the computer ruthless, but glitches happen. Right? You lose power. Your document doesn't save. You know, you lose internet connection, whatever, right? Glitches can happen. So aim to submit that reading quiz a solid 10 minutes before that 11:59 p.m. due time, right? That's going to do a lot for you. It's going to forestall a lot of problems. And let's face it, there's just not a whole lot you could do in the last 10 minutes before 11:49 p.m. before it's due. There's not a whole lot you could do in the next 10 minutes to improve that reading quiz. So just submit it by that time. It says 11:59 p.m. Pretend it's 11:49 p.m. is the due time. So get that done. Get that done. Do not type your reading quiz directly into the submission box on Canvas. Now, that it will time out on you, right? That web page will time out on you, and you won't even know it, right? I've heard this happen to students so many times. They've completed their reading quiz and they worked really hard. They typed everything out. They complete that reading quiz. They hit the submit button, and I mean, actually, by the way, they think it's submitted, but it hasn't because the computer timed out. It just pops up the discussion post, and you're none the wiser. So do not type it directly into the submission box in Canvas. Instead, type it into a separate document, a Word document, a Microsoft or a Mac Pages document, a Google Docs, some sort of text file, right? Type it all out there before trying to submit it into the discussion post. It's just not going to work if you don't do that. So yeah, type it on that separate document beforehand. And I said that sometimes people, students hit that submit button and it looks like it's submitted, but it didn't. You would do yourself a favor checking that it actually did submit. So after you hit that submit button, scroll down, and your submission will be the last one. Scroll down and just make sure that your submission actually uploaded. And if it didn't, this is why. You type it into a separate document. You can just simply copy that and paste it into the window. Related to that, do not give me a link, right? Don't upload a file. Don't give me a Google Docs link. I want to see your entire submission. I want to see your entire submission in that reading quiz post, right? I don't want to have to open up something else. I don't want to download something. Just please, right? Just put it in there. If it's not in the discussion post in its entirety, not a link, not an upload file. If it's not in the discussion post in its entirety, you're not going to get credit for it, right? You got to follow the instructions and post it in there. Don't try to do this all at once. All right, don't try to do this all at once. This is a lot of work. It is, and it's going to be very exhausting. I suggest something like, work on it for 15 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. Then work on it for 15 minutes and take a 5-minute. When I say 5-minute break, I don't mean scrolling on Instagram or TikTok or something like that. I mean, getting up and moving your arms and your neck, right? Jumping jacks, whatever. Get the blood flowing again. Hydrate. Don't drink coffee. Don't do energy drinks. That's not going to help you. Hydrate. Drink some water. And don't try to do it all at once. And maybe don't even try to do it all the same day. Right? This is going to be very exhausting. You may or may not be aware of this, but when you work out, right? If you work out, you're supposed to have a day of rest in between the muscle sets. So you have a leg day, you have a chest day, you have an arm day, you have a back day, you have an aerobic day. Then you have an absolute day of rest. And the reason why you have this day of rest is because your body needs to actually heal. So when you work out those muscles, you're tearing the muscle fibers, and it needs that day for the muscle fibers to grow, to knit back together, and that's how you get a bigger muscle. Not that I would know, but something similar works for your brain. Right? Weirdly enough, you learn overnight. And I don't mean like you put the book on your face and you learn by osmosis. I mean that your brain is, in a sense, healing, making new neural connections overnight. Right? That's what's going to help you learn, not cramming it all in the last minute. So, don't try to do it all at once. So, those are kind of my warnings as far as that's concerned, right? That's how some initial mistakes that students make. So what I want to do next is take a look at the workflow.